how can you communicate emotion in such an emotionless medium as a Zoom or a television? And this is just so powerful. I mean, if you didn't see the presentation, Brayden Harrington, I think it is, he's a 12-year-old kid that stutters. 13-year-old kid that stutters. Why don't we have a look at the video so that you can actually put into perspective what we're saying? Have a look.
I want to introduce you now to a young man who Vice President Biden met earlier this year in New Hampshire and helped to find his voice. Say hello to Brayden Harrington.
Hi, my name is Brayden Harrington, and I'm 13 years old. And without Joe Biden, I wouldn't be talking to you today. About a few months ago, I met him in New Hampshire. He told me that we were members of the same club. We stutter. It was really amazing to hear that someone like me became vice president. He told me about a book of poems by Yeats he would read out loud to practice. He showed me how he marks his addresses to make them easier to say out loud. So I did the same thing today. And now I'm here talking to you today about the future, about our future. My family often says when the world feels better before talking about something normal, like going to the movies. We all want the world to feel better. We need the world to feel better.
So there you see Brayden Harrington, and the fact that he had the empathy and the ear of Joe Biden made it really impactful. You think about it, it's a perfect storm. A young guy of not yet voting age, but K-pop watching age and trending and online age is helped by an old guy who's of a completely different generation and there's no link to them. But then when he helps him from experience about stuttering, suddenly there's a link. And that means that everybody tries to fill the gap with empathy to say there is a perfect storm, a perfect opportunity to be able to use it. I'm not from a cynical point of view saying that it was just a photo opportunity, because I'm sure there's more to the heart of it, because Biden does stutter and he's overcome his terrible stutter. I say terrible, it's unfair to say that about any ailment or challenge, to say it's terrible, because your ability to overcome it gives you a load of gifts. As a hypnotherapist, I've helped many people to deal with their stuttering challenges. And you know what the fact is, Ernesto, what starts a person stuttering? When, as a hypnotherapist, your job is to take people back to the initial sensitizing event, the first time in their life something happened that had a trauma that embedded itself in them and they couldn't work their way past it. And that's usually at the age of 7. With a stutter, something happens to a young person that meant they couldn't say what they needed to say. Usually they were told off by an adult. So let's put this in perspective. Somebody comes to me, 20 years old, with a stutter. I put them into hypnosis. I take them back to the first time they've had the emotions that kick off whenever they feel a stutter today. One case in particular was a young lady, beautiful, smart, really good at what she did, but worried about going to university because she had an overpowering stutter that made her painfully shy in front of everybody. I took her back into regression to the first time that she experienced this stutter. And she was 4 years old. And she was at home in Eastern Europe. Her mum and dad were going through a bit of troubles. The mum was at work, the dad was at home. He had a friend round. She was there, the dad had been drinking, the friend had been drinking. She was eating pumpkin seeds. Her dad said, "Give my friend some pumpkin seeds." She didn't want to, they're her seeds. So he said, "Give the seeds." She didn't want to. So he shouted at her, "Give her the seeds, give her the seeds. Why won't you give them? Don't care, give the seeds." And that little frightened girl had embedded on her that whenever she's in a situation where somebody's big and she's so little, the stutter, which is subconscious, comes out to hijack her ability to say anything.
Yeah.
So how does this play out? Anytime you're in an important situation where you have to make an impact, the stutter kicks in to save you from getting yourself into trouble with the big person. Now, the big person could be a live audience. The big person could be a job interview. The big person could be going into a date with somebody and you want to impress them, but then it kicks in, that imbalance between you're small, don't say anything, you look stupid, and somebody's trying to demand you say something, and the big person who's going to punish you. I had to take her back to that situation, get her to work through the options, get her father, who is no longer with us, to apologize to his daughter that if he knew that she was going to be stutter-ridden for the rest of her life, he would never put her in that situation. I had to have her as an adult speak to the girl and forgive her for it. And then we worked her way through every situation where stuttering had been a problem. And when she came out of it, her stutter had gone. But the only challenge she had is she wasn't used to talking. So imagine somebody who's in a wheelchair who suddenly doesn't have a broken spine or doesn't have a challenging problem that stopped them from being able to walk. They don't have the leg muscles to effectively carry that weight. So she had to relearn conversations with people because she'd never done it before. Now, what Biden did was a very similar thing. Without hypnosis, he walked her through the conscious mind of a young boy. So that will have an impact on stutterers worldwide, that maybe, just maybe, they'll start doing something about it as well. And hats off to Joe Biden. Was impressed.
Yeah, it was very impressive. And that reminds me of exactly what you were mentioning a little bit earlier on. Reminds me exactly of this specific scene in the movie.
The King's Speech.
The King's Speech. Let's have a look.
What are you doing? Get up, you can't sit there, get up!
Why not? It's a chair.
No, that is not a chair, that is St. Edward's chair.
People have
that
carved their names on it.
Chair is the seat on which every king
It's held in
and
place
queen...
by a large rock.
That is the stone of Scone. You are trivializing
you can
everything.
believe all
You
that,
trivialize...
I don't care how many royal
Listen to me.
arsenals have sat in
Listen
this
to me!
chair.
Listen to me!
Listen to you, by what right?
By divine right, if you must. I'm your king.
No, you're not. You told me so yourself. You said you didn't want it. Why should I waste my time listening to
Because
you?
I have a right to be,
No,
and
it's
I
not.
have a voice!
Yes, you do. You have such perseverance, Bertie. You're the bravest man I know. You'll make a bloody good king.
Great movie, and that actually inspired me to want to work with dignitaries, the CEOs, and top people as a speaker coach, because I didn't even know that job existed, that people need to get onto a big pedestal to deliver a speech, and most of them are rubbish. So for speakers, it's really important that you might be able to do it, but most wannabe speakers can't. And I love that movie, and Collin Firth is the darling of every housewife and every mother and every auntie across the planet, especially after Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah. So what's the whole point and what's the trend that we need to understand? We need to understand that we can, even using these digital and virtual mediums or platforms, we can actually help connect when we understand what's going on with our audiences. I mean, and I have been repeating this for a number of years. It's not about me. It's not about what you do. It's what you can provide to people.
Thanks for watching the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you watch all the videos over here. There's two choices for you. Or, of course, I'm Dave Crane coming from Dubai.
And this is Ernesto Verdugo coming from Houston.
And I think we should send a message. Hold on.
What is this?
Subscribe.